Hello, Lisa here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to this deck preview slash walkthrough of the Little Buddha Tarot by Amy of Push Kitty. Okay, y'all, I'm really excited to get into this deck walkthrough. This is a prototype deck, so there will be some differences between the deck that I have here and the deck that is currently being funded or backed on Kickstarter. Now, let's talk about that for just a moment. So if you are new to Kickstarter, it's essentially a platform where creators can basically get their projects funded, their creative projects funded by crowdsourcing essentially. And so right now the Little Buddha Tarot is on Kickstarter, and I will have a full link to it down below so that you can check it out. The campaign itself will be live for the next, it says it's 23 days to go at the time I'm filming this, and this video will probably go up tomorrow, so 20-ish days left to go, and it's already made its funding goal. So as you can see here in Canadian dollars, the goal was 15,403 Canadian dollars, or will it tell us? Yeah, 12,500 US. So it has already surpassed its goal, which means that the project will happen. So now if you get on the Kickstarter campaign backing train, however you want to say it, you will be helping to guarantee that the deck happens, but of course we're already there, and you'll also be securing yourself one of the first decks. So there's different pledge levels along the side where you can decide what you want to back for. So for example, at US $60 or more, you have the tier Little Buddha Lover, which comes with the 78 card deck, a symbol key, and the creator's eternal gratitude. It looks like the estimated delivery for the deck is November of 2021. And before I get into the actual cards, let me just say that there's usually always some sort of difference between the prototype deck that comes for people with social media platforms like mine to share the deck. There's usually some differences between this and the final deck, starting with the fact that it is in a plain, undecorated tuck box. And Amy has also pointed out to me that there will be some differences to the back design as well as the color saturation. So my copy of the deck is probably a little more muted, I believe it is, than the final copy of the deck will be. I will say that my copy feels like this really nice matte cardstock that feels really flexible and easy to shuffle. Again, this is a prototype, so I wouldn't assume that this cardstock is identical to what will be on the campaign. My experience has been that when creators send out prototype decks, typically those decks tend to have a less fancy cardstock than what comes out in the final campaign. Not always, but often. I'm really excited about this deck, and as I get us zoomed in and set up here, I'll just chat about it a little bit. I'm really excited because Amy's been chatting with me throughout the creation of the deck and sending me little sneak peeks of the cards and getting feedback, and it's just been really fun to sort of see this deck come to life right before my very eyes. So I'm really, really excited to have this in front of me in like three-dimensional form. You have no idea. Now, this is obviously a deck that is right up my alley aesthetic-wise. Okay, I personally love the lotuses on the back. Again, I know this isn't the final design, but I do like it. So this has a very playful, joyful energy, but it is based on Buddhist theology, which I genuinely am excited about. I love that our fool here is literally a little Buddha with a panda companion who looks extremely concerned for his Buddha friend. And there's a butterfly on the finger and a lotus at the temple here, or forehead, however you want to see that. But it's very Rider-Waite-Smith in the layout, which I definitely appreciate. We even have a little stack of stones that look like they're carefully balanced off to the side. You do get the feeling here like there could be both wisdom and naivete in this card at the same time, which I think is amazing. Look at this beautiful creature in the Magician. I like that we still have the same sort of flowers that we would typically see in the Rider-Waite-Smith. I love that our Magician is floating on a lotus and has a very Ganeshian kind of vibe here. All the tools in all the arms. It's got a very sweet, approachable feel for sure. And I'm loving the inner child friendly aspect to the artwork. Love, love, love. Oh my gosh, is she the best, this High Priestess? I am living. The yin and yang on either pillar here, highlighting the duality represented by the pillars, I think is brilliant. I love the pomegranates lying around her little pillow or poof that she's sitting on, and she definitely looks like she has that air of mystery. Again, we're very locked into Rider-Waite-Smith, but staying very on theme with this particular deck's concepts, which I love, love, love. Now there's 2 Empress cards in my prototype deck, and I forgot to ask Amy if these will both be available in the final version, but I'm going to show you both cards here. I have to say I far prefer this one. I think just because she feels more aligned with the deck, but she also is very similar to our High Priestess, so I wonder if that's... Ooh, but look at their posture and how it mirrors each other here. I really, really enjoy that, almost as if we've got a maiden mother energy. I know that's... I'm using my own language for what I'm seeing, but I love that. The little cow here is also super sweet for the Empress, but I think I really prefer this one. If I was to be picking and shuffling which one into my deck, I think I'd be shuffling her. I love the opulence in her jewels and her crown, and she's got a regal feel. So does the cow, but I feel like there's a lot more playfulness in this image. Our Emperor, look at him. Oh, I love that he's riding on the ram here. This is so, so great. I love the expressions on the characters' faces so far. Like, they're just so sweet. There's definitely like an adorableness factor, but also this joy that's radiating out from the cards. Look at this Hierophant. I love that our 2 supplicants here involve another little Buddha and a monkey. I think that's fantastic. I love this, but again, we still get that feeling of sort of tradition and spiritual leadership coming through in this card. The Lovers. This is great with the little flamingos. Yay! There was a lot of chit chat about this particular card, and I'm excited to see the final version. I love the way that it came out. I love that we still have the apple and snake on one side and the flaming tree on the other side. I really like the symbology there and what it represents and the fact that that's maintained. But we also have this large Buddha-like angel figure above. I just think it's great. It's, again, very Rider-Waite-Smith, but with this wonderful Buddha overtone that I am digging. These little horses are so cute. And can I just say, they're like yin-yang horses. So much like, I'm going to show you here. So much like in an actual yin-yang symbol where you have a little speck of white in the dark half and a little speck of dark in the light half, you have the same thing happening here with the horses. And I feel very much that this is a nod to the yin-yang energy. I don't remember discussing this card specifically with Amy, so I don't know if that was the intention, but it looks like it might be, because here the white horse has a little dark eye and the dark horse has a little white eye, and I just think that's fantastic. Also love the wheel here at the forefront of the chariot. And again, other than that, it's very true to Rider-Waite-Smith. I like the look on the character's face here in the strength card, as if like they've bitten off a little more than they can chew in a way, but they're managing, but it's not without some work or struggle. And I feel like you see that in this facial expression. I freaking adore this Hermit card. The chakras all lined up beautifully in the background. Just really highlight, I think, the wisdom of alignment within this card and how it's represented. I love that we still have footprints in the snow. We get the feeling of our Hermit being high up, having that different perspective. Love that. And the Wheel of Fortune. Now this is cool because we've got symbols from the Buddhist tradition circling around in each segment of the wheel. So you really get that feeling of sort of the 8 spokes of a wheel, or sort of different aspects of a tradition forming a complete whole. Now, I'm not a Buddhist, and I only have a colloquial, is that the right word? Like a lay person's knowledge of Buddhism. So take what I have to say about it with a grain of salt. But that's how I'm interpreting this. I definitely feel like I recognize several of these symbols as being important aspects of the Buddhist path. And I feel like they're represented in the circle here. But then we also have sort of almost like seasonal energies represented, or rather elemental energies. We have fire, earth, air, and water. And then we also have the fixed sign for each of those 4 elements. So we have Leo, Taurus, Aquarius, and Scorpio, which I think is awesome. And then the Justice card with the black and white stripes behind. Again, these like nods to both duality, but also that sort of yin-yang energy is much appreciated by me here. I love how happy our Hanged Man looks to be in this state of suspension. Super cute. Oh my goodness, Death as a panda. This is so great. Lots of lotuses at the feet here and the bright rising sun behind him. Spot on. I love that. Love this Temperance. I'm just going to say I love all the cards. I'm a big sucker for lotuses because it's a very important symbol for me personally, but also just in general, these cute little lotuses, or not little lotuses, these cute little Buddhas are like stealing my heart. They're so cute. Oh my goodness. This is a really dark hermit. We have a devil that appears to also be a butcher. I don't even know how I feel about this one. This one's really intense. That's a lot. It's kind of like funny and twisted all at the same time. I have feelings about that. Oh my goodness. Here we have our tower. Now here it looks like there's, again, symbols of Buddhism hanging here from the tree, but the tree's on fire, and the lightning has struck the very heart of the tree, so it's sort of burning from the inside out. There's definitely this feeling of it being torn asunder, and it looks like some of the other tools of the path have fallen off the tree already. So instead of people falling, it's almost like our tools are falling, or our faith has fallen. Really interesting depiction. Oh my god! That elephant looks so much like Dumbo, I just can't even. Like, in the cutest way. I love that so much. I never got a sneak peek of this card, I don't think. This is so cute. The moon. Okay, so we have our cow here and a little chicken who is composing or creating a little dream catcher, which is the cutest. We still have our lobster coming out here. We have a face on the moon. You definitely get that feeling of sort of dealing with the unknown, and like, especially with the assembly of the dream catcher here, this idea of like sort of crafting tools to navigate the unseen. The sun. I love the joy in this card so much, and the play. I don't know a lot about this little flag that he's holding, but I'm assuming that has some significance. That is one thing about a prototype deck. There's no like little white book or anything to refer to, but I'm excited to hear more about all the choices made here. I really enjoy this judgment card, and I like how each of these characters, instead of coming out of coffins, they're sitting on top of, we could actually see it as coffins, but they're sitting on top of these pedestals, and they're all in like a folded leg position here, just like as if they were meditating and they're awakening, or they're being called to higher knowledge about themselves through this process. It really actually evokes quite a lot with a simple image there. The world, the chakras are aligned. Again, we have these four sort of corners represented. I'm assuming each to represent the four elements. I love that. So yeah, earth, fire, air, and water. Love the little Buddha sitting on top of his chakras all aligned. That's great. And now we're into the minors. So we have our Ace of Wands. Love that there's like these little pink like flowers blooming off the wands. That's great. Our Two of Wands. The Three of Wands looks like a genie. There's a very ethereal energy to this card, as if, and often to me, the Three of Wands is like, it's like there's this idea or thing that we're embarking on, but it's not quite solid yet. There's a feeling of sort of still dreaming in a way to this card. Like it's just forming solidity. And I feel like that's represented here with this spirit entity sort of looking out over the horizon with these ships going along the river in front. Celebrating milestones in the Four of Wands. I love how you can see that these faces are very pleasant on these characters. They're like, their expressions are very pleasant in spite of the competition here. So it brings that sort of friendlier, kind of holding each other to high standards kind of energy into the card. The recognition of the Six of Wands. That is a sassy horse. That horse is like, yeah, what about me? The Seven of Wands. This character is cracking me up. He shows up throughout several of the cards, and I kind of love him. The Eight of Wands. Very Rider-Waite-Smith there. And I'm loving this sort of gently faded backgrounds, too, in the artwork. The Nine of Wands. And the Ten of Wands. It's a very atmospheric deck. You definitely feel like you're in these little Buddha's world, for sure. Here we have our Page of Wands. Very like sort of wonder-filled here. Our adventurous Knight of Wands. Our confident Queen of Wands. And our charismatic King of Wands, who literally looks like he's having a nap. That's hilarious. But he looks like he's like very content in his power, and that's kind of a cool thing to be able to read. Ooh, Cups, my favorite suits. We have our Ace of Cups. Love the lotuses. Our Two of Cups. I dig the heart yin-yang here in the top of the card. That is the cutest. I like it. Our Three of Cups. Four of Cups. Five of Cups. Here it does look like milk rather than wine, which I think is appropriate for the theme of this deck. The Six of Cups. Very childhood memory here. These two little friends when they were little. Seven of Cups. Some slight changes to the types of things we see in the cups for what we could choose in that moment. The Eight of Cups. Okay, this is one of the cards I always look to. I feel like these cups are a little close to the top of the card, but you get this feeling of like movement or drifting. This is like totally my happy place right here on a floaty or just back floating in water on a beautiful day. Like the lily pads around. Oh my gosh, this is everything. I adore this representation of the Nine of Cups. And thank you, Amy. It's not just a dude with a bunch of cups of wine. It's the best. I love that. Oh, and I love the kangaroo family and the Ten of Cups. How cute is that? Okay, I'm just going to gush now. The Page of Cups is freaking adorable. I love his little seahorse buddy. I like that he's underwater, fully in his element. Our Knight of Cups with the rose in his mouth. He's such a romantic, our Knight of Cups. He's the one that like is constantly questing for love and passion. And oh my gosh, I love that. Oh, the Queen of Cups. I like her little shell necklace. I like that the lotus is blooming out of her cup. She's got this like very welcoming energy to her. And our King of Cups. He's sitting on the surface of the water. I actually really, really enjoy that. I like when King of Cups cards show the mastery of the element, right? And in the King of Cups specifically, I really enjoy when we see them on the surface of the water, this idea that they're not submerged, such as we see like with the Page, right? They're not like just in their element. They're straddling their element in a way that's very like controlled. They can still access their emotions easily, but they're not ruled by them, which I think is really great. And now we're into the swords. The Ace of Swords. The two, I love how dark and moonlit this, you really feel the moonlight from behind the figure here. I really like the way that this card is lit. And the fact that our primary figure in the front of the card, while they're making their decision, they're in shadow. Three of Swords. The rest of the Four of Swords literally feels like a nap. I love it. The Five of Swords. Okay, the panda sticking his tongue out and is kind of everything in this card. Oh my God. Okay, the Six of Swords. This is great. Now, this is really interesting. These swords going sideways. So I often look at the Six of Swords and I kind of pay attention to where the actual swords are, because depending on the artwork, the swords are sometimes left behind on the shore or they're coming with our characters as they're being ferried away. We have this sort of worried expression on our two characters while they're being moved away. But what's interesting, in the Six of Swords, we're often moving away from challenge into smoother waters, right? But what's happened to all of our feels about the disruption of the Five that we've just experienced? And here what's interesting to me is that three of the swords are sort of with our characters, like kind of like the baggage that they're bringing along. But three of the swords are sideways along the side of the craft or the ship here that they're on, this little boat. And it kind of looks like steps, like the steps they took to get into the boat. I mean like a physical like stairway almost kind of step. That's kind of what I'm seeing in the card. I don't know if that's intentional, but it gave me this feeling like, oh, they had to like learn from this painful experience they had so that they could get into this boat and ferry themselves away. They've still got more to process, but they did use some of that experience as a stepping stone to learning and being able to move on. I don't know why, but I just got a lot from that image. Here we have the Seven of Swords. Oh, I love these lanterns in the sky. Oh, the best. But while everyone's celebrating and they're distracted, off he goes with the swords. Our Eight of Swords. Completely wide open in front of our character here. They can totally leave. Love it. Aw, our Nine of Swords. Interesting, the little zodiacal signs happening in the background. And we get this wakeful night kind of anxiety feeling. And then down at the bottom here, much like in the Rider-Waite-Smith, there is actually a little battle happening just behind the title here. You can see some like a panda fight happening in the design on the bottom of the bed or box spring there, which is, again, just like we see in the Rider-Waite-Smith, we often see something happening down there. The Ten of Swords. I like that there's no blood. I'll say that much. This Page of Swords is everything with his like pens in his pocket and like he's got that kind of nerdy look about him. Love that so much. It's so great. This would be a really good deck, I think, for just getting to know the court cards, because I feel like there's a lot of personality through the courts that makes it easy to sort of get to know their energy a bit. Our Knight of Swords. Love him. Oh, beautiful Queen of Swords. One of the prettiest Queen of Swords I think I've seen in a long time. I love her. The King of Swords. Love the zen and the peace in this card, for sure. And the butterfly alighting on the very tip of his sword. Now we're into Pentacles. We have our Ace, our 2, 3. They are putting the finishing touches on a house. So our little panda friend here is like managing the plans. Somebody is like doing something with the roof. This one's got the screwdriver. 4 of Pentacles. Oh, the 5 of Pentacles. This is great. So they're trying to make a go of it, right? But they're trying to sell lemonade in the wintertime. Like, something's not, there's a disconnect. That's a really interesting take on the card, and one that I think would be really good to read with and sort of play with that take. The 6 of Pentacles. The 7. I love the actual like vegetables we see here with the tomato plant, the cabbages, and the pumpkins. The 8. I think I only see 7 coins on the card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That actually doesn't bug me too much, but it cracks me up because there was a card once. I'm trying to remember which deck it was, and there was only 7, and I didn't notice until somebody pointed it out. So sorry for that. But again, you get the idea of the card, right? Like, even if you, like, you don't need to count necessarily every single pentacle, but you got the idea that, like, there's repetitive work here happening. There's refinement happening. Our 9 of Pentacles. The 10, I love this. I love this idea that it still makes the shape of the Kabbalistic tree of life, but we also get this feeling like this is an altar, and these are little prayers that have been left pinned to this tree or hung on this tree, along with the offerings of incense and fruits and flowers here on the altar space. Our Page of Pentacles, very studious. I like that they have like almost like a Girl Scout or Boy Scout style sash with badges on it. You get the idea that they're very studious and very dependable. Eager to make themselves, what am I trying to say? Like eager, I wanted to say eager to please, but that's not really the energy I mean. I mean like just eager to prove themselves in a way, which can definitely be Page of Pentacles energy. Our Knight of Pentacles, kind of traveling on foot here, being careful. Queen of Pentacles, love that. King of Pentacles. And there is a bonus card in my prototype deck here, the 3 Wise Buddhas card. Speak no evil, hear no evil, see no evil. That's the feeling I get from that card. That is so sweet. Okay, let's zoom out. Let's do a little shuffle test and a sample read. Oh, I should take out my extra Empress card so we don't have double Empress in the deck. So I'm going to take out the Cow Empress. I will keep the bonus card in the deck, and let's give it a little shuffle. This does have a really lovely like matte coating on it. It feels, it got an interesting texture. Like it feels like it's one step away from linen. It's super smooth, but it's buttery. The funny thing is the word buttery comes to mind a lot, but like it's such a non-helpful term in so many ways, but it's just, yeah, it's got a nice coating on it. Again, this is just the prototype, so I don't know how the cardstock will differ in the final version. I imagine it will be similar, but I do know that the back design may be changing and the color vibrancy will probably be up to notch in the final version. So let's give it a riffle shuffle. This feels like the kind of deck that's going to riffle just beautifully, and I'm not wrong. What a lovely shuffle. Let's do that again. Oh, I love it. Okay, let's do a little sample read here. So we'll do Energy Obstacle Advice, which is my favorite 3-card style reading. We have the 8 of Cups. Let's zoom us in. Energy is the 8 of Cups. So something we're leaving behind, something that it's time to move on. We've invested all of this energy. We've got to put it behind us now and step forward into something new. But what's in the way is the Lovers. The Lovers often represents a choice, particularly a choice about a way of life, right? Like we're really deciding where our priorities are going to be. What are we going to be putting first? And so in the process of leaving whatever it is we need to leave behind, we need to decide, right? What are we going to commit to? Where is our commitment going to be? Is it to ourselves? Is it to somebody else? Is it to a particular ethical paradigm or a calling? What is it that we're going to commit to? That's really what the Lovers is asking. I feel like as an obstacle card, it's like we're trying to move forward away from something that we've really put a lot of energy into, but we're kind of hesitating because we don't really know what we're fully committed to yet. We know we're committed to move away from something. We just haven't figured out what we're kind of like running away versus running towards something. We need to shift the energy from running away or moving away to moving toward. So this is like, I think, really identifying that for some of us, we might be in a position where we're still trying to identify what it is we're moving toward. And then our advice is the Knight of Cups, and that answers our dilemma, right? Because the Knight of Cups follows his heart. When we're trying to decide what is the true way to go for us, what is the decision we need to make, like what are we committing to? The Knight of Cups says you're committing to what is pulling your heart forward. If you're feeling really stuck, if you're feeling like you've moved away from something, or you've closed the door on something, or you're about to close the door on something, but you don't really know where you're headed to, ask yourself where you feel that sort of heart pull, and that's going to be your answer. Really, really easy to read with this deck. It's very Rider-Waite-Smith, so it's a breeze to just pull these out and work with them. But of course, you've got this beautiful little Buddha world to work with. This is going to be a gorgeous deck, and I'm so excited that the Kickstarter is already fully funded. Once the Kickstarter campaign is completed and they've gotten their rewards, oftentimes the creator, if they can, will have ordered some extra decks, but I wouldn't count on that. If you're really, really called to this, I would say hop in on the Kickstarter and get, be a part of that process, or at least maybe sign up for email updates or something through the Kickstarter so you know what's happening, or through the creator. I will have all the relevant links and information down below so that you can follow this project, keep an eye on it, be aware of any upcoming pre-orders, that kind of thing. Thank you again so much to Amy for sending me this super cute deck so that I could take a look at it and share it with all of you guys. It's been really exciting, as I said, to see this come to life, and I'm so happy that it's already funded and it's going to be happening, because this is fantastic, and I have definitely been wanting a deck like this for some time. It's right up my street, so I'm super stoked. Thank you again so much for hanging out with me. And again, thank you to Amy for sending this to me so that I could check it out and share it with you guys. As always, please do click the like button if you enjoyed this flip through and this deck preview, or if you found value in it. Do subscribe if you're new here. I love to make videos about tarot, about witchy stuff, self-worth, and all the good things. And of course, don't forget to hit that little notification bell so you're notified of all my future videos. Thank you again so much, and may your magic always shine from the inside out. Bye, guys.